Hey, good morning, church. Oh, I pray you're blessed this morning. It's nice outside, not near as cold as last week. In fact, it's kind of hard to believe we had such cold temperatures last week, and here where we're at, we had a day reach 60 degrees this week. But anyway, this morning, just outside, and I was thinking a lot about peace. I've actually been thinking a lot about peace this whole week, and really what peace is. We keep talking about how we feel like we're in pretty turbulent times, just having to fight so much in our world. I know we've been fighting COVID for a year now, if you can believe it. And, just divisions, factions amongst us as a country, politically, racially, just economically. I mean, you name it, people try to find a way to show the division within it, and it can just really seem like so much in our world is just terrifying and turbulent, and just causing a lot of fear. And I just got to thinking about, like, where's peace in all of this? I don't know if, like me, you even just struggle in that arena, just finding peace. I even find times where I feel like I can literally do nothing physically. Like I can just do no chores or do no work, and try to even just set aside a day in which I don't do anything. Yet at the end of that day, I might struggle in finding peace simply because I wasn't able to shut my mind off. My mind can just bring about weariness. And I've really just been trying to walk through that with the Lord, honestly. And in that, I was reminded, of what peace is scripturally. The peace that we're given is a promise. Jesus tells us, he says, I will leave you my peace. And he says, not as the world gives do I give, but he gives us of his peace, of his fullness. It's a peace that Paul even describes as, it's not understood. It surpasses all knowledge, all understanding, and it's something ultimately that I believe is of the Lord. It's not something we find necessarily from this earth. And so, in that instruction, Jesus says, I believe in John chapter 14, he actually tells us, he says, don't let your heart be troubled, nor let it be fearful. And so in that, I see like there's a responsibility on our part, even of just guarding our hearts and guarding our minds, to join to his promise of peace. And it's something that's really important for the believer to take hold of, because it requires us to join in with a promise, and not necessarily try to draw that peace from what's happening around us and our circumstances. The nation of Israel, when they were wandering in the wilderness, it says they wandered for 40 years, which is just unbelievable to me. It's such a long time, and I don't know that 40 years was the intention God had, but it's how long it took for them to truly get to a point where they trusted him fully. And in that, as I was just reading through it, I recognize, I think for the nation of Israel during that time, it was an invitation for them to believe upon what God had said was good, to believe that he was going to be a sustainer for them, that he was going to be one who was going to fight their battles for them, that he was going to provide and he was going to lead them to that promised land. But even though he was leading them to that promised land, they had to believe, they had to join in faith that he was going to be the one that would supply all of this, because they learned, even just reading in the beginning of Deuteronomy and reading through the Exodus and the book of Numbers, they had to learn that they couldn't do it in their own power, in their own way. They had to be fully dependent on him. But when they were supplied. And so it causes me to really think, in terms of when we want to find peace, it's really completely based on faith. It's an act of faith. It's recognizing that the promise of God is that we won't be alone, that he longs for goodness for us, and that we can in fact walk in a steadfast peace. And those are promises. And so what that really requires us to do is to believe. We have to put faith in those promises. And when we put faith in those promises, it changes our mindset to be able to take hold of that peace and take hold of it fully. You know, I'm encouraged by that, because what that means is, regardless of my circumstances, whether I'm working, whether I'm studying, whether I'm, just taking time to relax, in any of those situations, I find peace when I pair my mind with Him, when I believe upon His promise. So steadfast peace, that peace that surpasses all understanding, it comes not in our circumstances, it comes in faith, believing upon the promise of God. So I pray you're encouraged with that this week, you really practice on what has God promised me. And from that, you're able to draw peace in the fact that, listen, he said He would, and so He will. He has made promise. He has saw fit to do so, and so He will. He will carry that forth. So just remember that this week. Don't try to find it in your circumstances. Don't take inventory of your circumstances and say, well, I just can't find peace anywhere. Take inventory of your promises. Take inventory of what He said. And from that, draw your peace. Okay? Hey, I love you, and I hope you're having a blessed week. And I pray that you truly come into the fullness of that steadfast peace that He affords you in accordance to His promises. All right? Have a blessed week, church.